Yeah, hi everyone. In this video, I'm going to explain about JDBC in a single shot. So, what is the importance of this video means what you can easily answer all questions in an interview, right? About the JDBC. First of all, we know the basic points of JDBC, right? So, what is the main purpose of JDBC? If you want to connect from Java application with any device, we are using JDBC, right? See, using Java, you can develop both desktop applications, of course, with the help of core Java, and you can develop web applications also. Web applications, we can use anything like a framework or technology, servlets, JSP, Spring, or anything you can use. So you can communicate, you can connect with the Oracle database or any other database, mostly Oracle, right? We use JDBC in between. And next, from the web application also, right? If you want to connect with the database, we are using JDBC. So simply what is JDBC? Just it is used to communicate with the database management system from Java application. Either it is the desktop application or it is the web application, right? The next one, what is the procedure to connect with the database? How to write the code about the JDBC and all. See, very simple. Oracle means it will understand only the queries, SQL queries. SQL queries. These are called statements in Java. What are the queries in SQL? We can call it as a statements in Java. The queries we need to execute. But if you want to execute the queries, what is the procedure to execute the queries? Like creating the table, inserting the records, deleting the records, updating the records, whatever, anything you want to do, right? Simply we are using, right, SQL queries. But to communicate with that, to communicate with Oracle, what are the steps? Steps to execute SQL query from Java application. It's very simple. First of all, first point is you need to load the driver. Load the driver. Sir, what is the purpose of loading the driver? See, what driver will do means what? Just it is a communicator, like a translator between the Java application, like Java syntax as well as Oracle syntax. Right? First step is loading the driver. If it is Oracle, we use Oracle driver. That Oracle driver is installed. Oracle driver installed is available whenever we install the Oracle application into our system. Oracle application into our system. Right? Once the driver has been loaded, the second one, once driver is ready, then we establish the connection. Sir, how to establish the connection? It's very simple. Right. One more point, how to load the driver, they will ask the question. Right. There is a class in Java. Class name is a class which contains a static method called forName method. Static method called forName method. It is taking the class name. It's a static method. It is a static method. Method name is a forName method. It is taking the class. What is the driver that you want to load? That you want to load. So suppose if the driver is not available, it will throw the exception, class not found exception that we need to handle. We need to handle. How can we load the driver means there is a method, static method, for name method. It is taking the driver name, right? And it will load. If the driver is not available, chance of getting class not found exception, that we need to handle. The way you handle, that is your wish, either with a try catch or with a throws. Next one is the establish connection. How to establish the connection means there is a class called driver manager class. In this driver manager class, another static method is there. That static method is a get connection method. It is taking three arguments. One is URL. Next one is a authentication of database. One is a username. Second one is a password. Three things it will take. Right? What are the three values? If you pass what all correct, then it will establish the connection and it will return the connection object as a return type. Or else, right, it will throws exception, that is SQL exception. Any error, suppose if URL is wrong or username is wrong or password is wrong, you will get the SQL exception. So how can you establish the connection? Means there is a class called driver manager class. In that static method, get connection method is there, which is taking 3 input values to establish the connection. Okay, once the connection is ready, then right, we need to create the statement. Sir, which statement? There are two types of queries. There are two types of statements or queries. Right, first one is a static query. Second one is a dynamic query. So what are the static queries and what are the dynamic queries? Very simple. Static query means what? A query without values, without dynamic values. Dynamic means what? A query with values. If you see some of the examples, you will get more clarity. Okay. See here, to execute the queries, there are two types of interfaces in JDBC. What are the three types of interfaces in JDBC? One is a statement interface. Next one is a prepared statement interface. Prepared statement interface. Third one is a callable statement interface. Callable statement interface. What is the purpose of statement interface? Very simple. Statement interface is used to execute static queries. Static queries. Prepared statement is used to execute dynamic queries. Callable statement is used to execute stored procedures. PLSQL, stored procedures. Stored procedures are functions. All these things, if you want to execute, you can go with a callable statement. Sir, how can you get the prepared statement? Prepared statement, and callable statement. Before that, what are the static queries and what are the dynamic queries? It's very simple. A query without value. A query without value means what? Suppose create table with a table information. This is a static query, no values. If you want to delete the table, drop table, the table name, so and so. Suppose student table I want to delete. Suppose create a student, and of course the column names we have to give inside. That is. Next, I want to display all. Delete from student. All details it will delete. For example, select all details, retrieve all details, select star from student. Sir, what are the first two queries? Right, first two are DDL queries, data definition language queries. Next one is a DML query, manipulation language query. Third one is a DRL query, DRL. Okay, sir, what are the dynamic queries? Dynamic queries, not a DDL, only just a DML and a DRL queries are there. Sir, what are those? Simple. Insert into student values. Sir, what are the values? We don't know. What are the values we are collecting in input? ID, name, for example, course, fees, everything. Sir, I want to delete a particular student. Delete from student where student ID is equals to so and so. We don't know what is the student ID. Right? I want to update the student. Update student. Set, for example, fees is equals to so and so, where the student ID is equals to we don't know. Something you want to read, right? Either from the console and desktop application using the scanner class or using the buffered reader, or if you are reading the information from the HTML form, whatever you do, if you collect the information and if you perform all these things, which are called DML. And here it is, what are DRL? DRL means what? Simple, particular record. Select star from student where that student ID equals to we don't know. See, what all these things we are reading dynamically, we are collecting the values, user input. These are called dynamic queries. Without taking any values, we are executing. Sir, how can you execute DDL queries? Right here it is in statement, methods are there. If you want to execute DDL, there is a method called execute method. If it is a DML, there is a method called execute update method. If it is a DRL, there is a method called execute query. Sir, execute. What execute method will do? Just you are creating the table or retrieving the table. Creating or retrieving. Execute. See, using DDL, nothing but what are the DDL commands? Just try to understand. Create the table, drop the table. Maybe you will get true or false. So, execute method return type is a Boolean type. Next one, if you check execute update, you are performing insertion, deletion. I mean, deletion operation, for example. Right? How many things will be updated? We don't know. Records. Maybe 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? So that's why return type is an integer. Execute query, you are retrieving the details. The table information you are getting. The complete information. The table information will come in the form of object. Sir, what is that object? It's a result. Set object. So three methods given for three different reasons. First one, execute method for DDL commands, execute update for DML commands, execute query is for DRL commands. Execute DDL means what? You will get either true or false in creation of table or deletion of table. Execute update means how many records updated. Maybe 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's integer. Execute query, you are getting the information. Same prepared statement also. See, prepared statement also DML queries or DRL queries are there. So execute update and execute query, same methods available. Next, if you want to execute stored procedures, right here it is a prepare call is there. Prepare call method, right? It will take the procedure. We need to call the procedure. We need to call the procedure. Then it will execute. So these are the three main interfaces to execute any type of command, either it is SQL command or it is a PLSQL command in JDBC from Java. From Java. And the next one more important is what here it is in a transaction management. So first of all, we need to understand what is the transaction. What is the transaction? Transaction means what? Executing group of SQL queries. Group of SQL queries. So why we are executing group of SQL queries at a time? Let me explain one transaction. Suppose if you take ATM transaction, what will happen? From the ATM or from any bank account, if you want to transfer the amount, first what we will do? First of all, we are checking, right? The information means what? Whatever the amount you want to send, enter amount to send. Nothing but transfer. So first we need to check the amount is present or not. Amount is present or not in sender account. Sender account. That is, suppose if amount is present, then we continue with the next step. So what is the next step? Right? We ask enter receiver account. Receiver account number. So we are checking that account number is present or not. Is present or not. If account number is present, then okay, we send. If present, we send. If not, else it is an error. See, instead of doing all these things one by one checking, what we will do, we are writing the queries continuously for all these things and we are executing at a time. But in JDBC, there is a problem. Whenever we are executing queries one by one, suppose it is a first query, query 1, query 2, query 2, query 3, query 3, query 4, query 5. For example, 5 queries are there in one transaction. In one transaction, total 5 queries are there. Whenever we are executing all these queries, if first query is ready, completed, it will save automatically because in JDBC, commit is by default true. Automatically it will be committed. If second one is a correct, second one will save with the help of auto commit. Auto commit is a true. Like that it will. So what we have to do, we need to control this. Why? Because transaction means what? Either all queries should be executed or none of the queries should be executed. Because suppose if amount is present in the amount is present in the sender account, if you deduct the account, suppose if receiver account number is wrong or not present, then what will happen? Here amount deducted, but here amount is not updated. We will face the problem. That's why what we have to do, transaction is a very simple. First point is, right, auto commit, automatically commit option. We need to make it false first, false. Then we need to check all the queries executed successfully or not. If all queries executed successfully, simply we are writing the commit. If not, in case if it is failed, any exception occurred, then simply we will roll back. Rollback means what? The complete transaction will be rollback. It will be terminated. So commit means once everything is completed, commit. In case any exception, we go with the rollback. This is called transaction management in JDBC. Okay. So this is the simple way of learning JDBC, right? And you can answer every simple question in an interview. These are the maximum questions they are expecting in every interview. Hope you understood. Thank you all.